All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an old Corbin. I can't think of the model number on this, but we are going to disassemble it for those of you who need to know how. There's a retaining bar that holds the outside knob on. It is right here, and it is held on by these two flathead screws. So you back those off. Pull your screws out, keep your hand on the top so the top doesn't fall out. Keep this in together, push this bar out of there. That's it. And now the outside knob will come off in your hand. Set this aside and keep it upright. Do not bump it, because if that top comes off of there, you I don't want to talk about it. All right, so now we are to the part where you key it up. This plate right here comes off. Gotta give it a tap. It has some serrations on there that keep it locked in place. Very rusted on. There it is. All right, that comes off. You see those teeth? They look like little gears. They lock this in place quite well. It's been a long time since this was apart. Snap tool, ring tool, or true arc remover. This is a compression true arc. You have to put it in there and compress it and wiggle it up. Take it off. Now this center hub will come off of here, and I recommend everybody find where the keyway is upright, make you a little mark and a part of the knob that won't be visible, and make you a mark on the spindle part so that when you put it back on, you can match your scratches up, because this will go on either way. It can go on either direction. Take it off, and now you are to the lock cylinder. The lock cylinder is held in with a roll pin. Put it in your vise, drive the roll pin out towards the top of the lock cylinder, and then when you put it back in your vise and drive it back in the other way, because this side right here is smaller than that side, and you don't want to mess it up. All right, so pause. All right, got our lock in the vise. Take a punch that's an accurate size. It doesn't take a lot. It's a little bit big. It doesn't take a lot to knock this out. Just a few taps, and it'll come out. And once you get it out about that much, get you some pliers and pull it right back out. Here we are, back at the workbench. Just get you some pliers. These are from the 30s, about the same age as this lock. And just work your pin out. Set it aside somewhere where you don't lose it. And then now, make you another mark on the lock's housing and on the actuator, or whatever they call that, so that when you put it back on, you put it back on the same way. Take it off, and then you would just use, if you don't have a key, it shims like a regular lock does. It uses the small plug follower, not the large Corbin plug follower, and then just rekey the lock as you normally would do. And that's it. All right, we're going to do reassembly. We have rekeyed the lock to a new key, just as you would any other lock. Put it back in your housing. Extract your key, and then this is where these marks come in, very important. I mark the side of this cylinder with a scratch right there, and the actuator and the cylinder, put it back on, and then we will go over to the vise and we will put that roll pin back in. I may be able to do it right here, as a matter of fact, though. Get it started, and sometimes you can clamp these things right back in again. Give it a couple of taps. There we go. And then just give it a clamp so that it goes flush. You don't want it rubbing on the inside of the housing, so it's back in. All right, once we do that, we are just simply putting it all back together again, exact same order that we took it apart. You can see there's 3 sections cut out here. The lock cylinder straddles in the middle, just like that. We made our scratches on the edge of the lock and on the edge of this to put it back on, which is, where is my scratch? There we go. All right. Snap ring. I recommend not trying to compress it till you get it back on the lock, because it will shoot off, and they probably don't make this size anymore. You might be able to find it, but who wants to do that? Make sure it's fully seated. Put our rose plate back on. Give it some taps. It's back on all the way. All right, and then get your lock, and be careful to hold onto this top, because there's nothing keeping any of these inside parts in there. If it falls over, you're going to want to go home. Keyway is upright. Same way in that one. Okay. Slides back in. There we go. And our clip. Goes right there. Tricky to get back in. Little bugger. You can see how fun these are to work on. That's the hardest part. Plus, these are magnetized. I need something that's not magnetized. I know everybody wants to see. It's just, there we go. Got it back down in there. This clip is important because it's what actually holds the knob on. And it's held in with those 2 screws we took off. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get these screws to line up back right again on there. You don't want to over tighten them once you get it on. Just do one side. There it is. One side, just enough to hold it in place. The other side. It's tough to get this to line up because you can't put eyes on it. There's not one to thread in. As you can see, it's easier to take apart than it is to get back together again. Got it. All right, when you tighten these up, tighten a little on one side and the other. And if you get them too tight, the knob won't turn. But if it's right, then the knob will turn. And then give them just a little bit more of a crank just to keep them tight. And that's it. You have now rekeyed a 70-year-old Corbin lock.